Man, what a great year for video gaming. And what a great year for indie video gaming.
You know, it's funny you say that because I thought 2020 was like the best year ever for indie games. We had some amazing games that came out last year, especially like the pandemic lockdown era when people were able to like explore different genres of games and find like those hidden gems, those little indie masterpieces.
Ones that are not normally played.
Yeah, but 2021 is shaping up to be even more impressive. Cooler indies and just really, really neat games just released in the first 6 months of the year.
Absolutely. And with everybody being home, there was one game this year that knocked the boots off of everybody. Something we could only play this year.
I'm so glad that you and I are on the same page about
For
this.
once, we agree on this.
I know. So let's tell the camera.
That's right.
3, 2, 1.
Cyber Shadow!
I'm sorry. Did you just say Cyber Shadow?
Yeah, I think you said Valheim. We'll try it again. Ready, Steve? 1, 2. Cyber Shadow.
Valheim.
Are you serious?
How can you not be on the same page as me?
Oh, man, this is embarrassing. Steve, I don't know if you remember, you're getting older again. Cyber Shadow, we played it. It was really great. It was amazing.
Yeah. Valheim, we did a whole 2-hour stream about it. You just talked nonstop about how awesome it was after the stream was over.
It was good. Cyber Shadow good, though. I mean...
Okay, explain to me why this little Switch-specific indie darling is just the best indie game of the first half of the year, and then I'll explain to you why the PC game Valheim is the best.
Let me explain something to you, Liz Lemon. Let me tell you about a little company called Yachts Club. You ever heard of them? Because they made a darling game called Shovel Knight. An amazing game, by the way. And did they sit down and say, we're done? No, they said, robots, ninjas, future, let's put them all together. And you know what makes that even better? A Metroidvania. Are Metroidvanias amazing, Steve?
Yeah.
How about a Metroidvania with amazing gameplay, awesome mechanics? You have dodging, you have counters, you have platforming, you have an amazing boss battles. Not only that, it's a game that's fair nowadays. How many games have go for cheap deaths versus you actually gaining skills and getting better and just becoming that Cyber Shadow? See, Cyber Shadow is something special because it didn't slip through the cracks. Anybody that needed to know about this game knew about it because it came out at an amazing price, came out with spectacular graphics, amazing story, and Steve, we made an entire video devoted to how amazing it was. And do I need to remind you of something, Steve? I'll take it from the top. Cyber Shadow!
Oh, for the love of... Don't sing that
Cyber
goofy song
Shadow!
again.
But all jokes aside, Steve, Robot Ninjas, Metroidvania. Need I say more? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you do need to say more because I can tear that down just by explaining to you why Valheim was the superior indie of the year so far.
I'm all ears.
Okay,
And
so
your nose and
yes,
mouth.
Yacht Club made a great game, whatever. Valheim, 4 people, developed by 4 people.
You mean 400?
4. Think about the epic scale of that game.
It was
Okay?
big.
It has to rank extremely high on the all-time list of largest overworlds in a video game. You literally could take the fastest boat in that game. It would take you an hour to sail across the entire map. You know, going in and around the islands. Actually, probably longer than that. The map is just unfathomably huge. All kinds of different biomes, from forest to snowy mountains.
I like snow.
To swamps. So they have all of the classic types of places that the game takes place in as far as biomes. But then, let's talk about the actual game mechanics itself. It has amazing combat.
Okay.
It is a survival game, so you have to find things around you, flint in the water, chop down trees, upgrade your weapons, upgrade your axes to knock down stronger trees, find copper and iron that you have to mine, all to make better gear. That, by the way, there's no gear from vendors. There's no epic loot drops that come from a mystical dragon. You have to get down in the mud, do your work, put in the time to get all these little pieces, iron ingots, etc., hammer them together at a forge to make some iron armor. When you get that upgraded armor, you feel good about yourself. And that's the way the whole game's gear system works. You put in the time, you progressively get better gear. So, excellent RPG elements tied in a survival scenario. But that's not all. You have the whole Minecraft-esque aspect of it. So, there's no base camp. When you start the game, you're literally thrown off of a giant crow and wearing nothing but a loincloth.
Happens to me every Thursday.
You have to start from literally nothing. Nothing. You build up a little tiny shack, and then as time goes on and you progress in the hours and the time and what you can do, you can turn your little shack into a giant city if you want. You can make your little home base as small or as grandiose as you want. It's all in what your imagination can do, just like in Minecraft. It is a building scenario, building simulator that is really endless in what's possible.
Well, that sounds great, Steve. But does it top Cyber Shadow?
Yes, because it's the best of all of those genres: survival, craft or building, simulation, RPG, all tied into one.
Yeah, but you got to go with classic 16-bit. What brought us to this point, Steve? This is too tough. They're both amazing choices.
You know what we need? We need an impartial third party. Someone who would clearly pick one of those two because there's no other option. It's what's the best indie of the year so far. Someone who can decide this for us. Tell us what the best indie game of the year is.
Yeah, but that person would have to do nothing but research on indie games. He would have to have a devotion to it, a love for the craft, if you will. And you would have to be smart about it, like not spend tons of dollars on it, kind of living in a budget.
So like a gamer on a budget.
Absolutely. A budget gamer, if you will.
What's up, my dudes? I hear that you were having a little bit of a debate about what is currently the most amazing indie game released so far in 2021.
Wow! The budget gamer? Oh, Steve, his hair is gorgeous.
Robophobic is actually a pretty intense game, and it is hugely underrated, not only by itself in its price, actually being below $10 as a budget indie, but in its visuals, its massive twisting and turning story, and in the fact that every single male character looks like Bruce Lee in a 70s jumpsuit, which is inarguably amazing. But other than that, you actually play the game primarily through the eyes of one character, but you'll be able to change through several different characters, each with their own unique abilities for how they can navigate this dungeonous maze. Robots have pretty much taken over the world, and now they threaten kind of the last vestige of humanity, and it's your job, with the other agents in your team, to stifle the plans of PAL 9000 and take back humanity from the robots. Or at least that's how you understand the mission when you start playing the game. But for those of you who aren't familiar with a more mystery dungeon style gameplay, enemies are spawned and move across the map and even attack in relation to your own movements, which requires a lot of player investment into tactics and strategy to keep from getting completely overwhelmed, because every step you take and every shot you fire can bring you that much closer to the level's exit or your own death. And so more or less, when you move, they move, just like that. And it's such a popular and entrancing game mechanic that even Ludacris himself published a song about it back in 2003. And if that's not at least a little bit of evidence that Robophobic is actually, as far as budget titles are concerned, the best indie game released so far in 2021, I don't know what is. But hey, I got more budget titles to play and more reviews to do, so I'm gonna leave the final decision up to you guys.
Oh, well, that was unexpected.
Yeah, really nice, really well spoken. What a great guy. I would follow him on YouTube. Except one problem.
He didn't pick a very good game.
Yeah, completely wrong.
Yeah, like he had one job. He interrupted us. He had one job to pick Valheim or Cyber Shadow, and he picked other stuff.
Yeah, like legit interrupted our channel with his channel for the wrong pick.
And both of ours were superior to his picks.
I agree with you. You know what? I'm going to watch his channel a little more closely all the time just to let him know you're wrong.
I mean, you're right. He does have nice hair.
I know.
But
he was well spoken.
Yeah, but, it is what it is. I still think our picks were better.
I agree.
And, speaking of the Adventurers Guild, that just about does it for this episode of the Adventurers Guild. So as usual, a huge shout out to our patrons for making videos like this possible.
Ooh.
Check us out on Discord. Subscribe to the Budget Gamer on YouTube because he does make some pretty good content, even if his picks in this video weren't so hot.
Let's just say he does favors.
So for the Adventurers Guild, I'm Steve,
Still Jesse.
and we watch catch you guys in the next one.
How do you think he gets his hair that long?
A lot of mousse and like product, maybe.